He was born and raised in Maryland. We know he has ties to San Francisco, California.
Yeah, I want this guy to do all the narration from this point forward.
And his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii.
And his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He seems like a dangerous criminal, a dangerous vigilante. You need to hide your kids and hide your wife. Now, over here in America, we've had some craziness going on. Who is Luigi Mangione? Team coverage of the man questioning the murder of the healthcare CEO, Embassy, New York. Now, if you want to put on your tin hat and go full craziness here, just like in crypto with the hot girl rug pulling and like doing a crypto like pump and dump, this is not anything new. If you do not learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, you motherfuckers, because it's happened in stocks. And apparently, the CEO who was involved in the UnitedHealth was involved in a stock and pulled out a lot of money in this stock, and it dumped. So some real life gangsters, some real life mafia stuff put out somebody and did a whack. Maybe it's a Nancy Pelosi. I don't know, but I want to find out more about this, because that's if you go down the rabbit holes on Twitter, that's ultimately where you're gonna find.
To follow breaking news where police are questioning a person of interest in the murder of a UnitedHealthcare CEO, Brian Thompson.
And good afternoon to you at 4 o'clock. I'm David Ushery.
I'm Natalie Pasquarello. We want to get right out to News 4's Mark Santia. He is live in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That's where a man is being interviewed by the NYPD right now. Mark.
Yeah, Natalie and David, Altoona is home to about 40,000 people. As you can imagine, this is causing quite
the world revolves around the Freemasons. Yeah. And you know who's trying to actively get in there? This guy. I mean, look at this. Look at the form right here. He's ready to hawk too on that stuff. He's like, let me in.
This story. You take a look behind me. Media and residents here surrounding the police station. Moments ago, an NYPD caravan pulled up. Several NYPD detectives, including Deputy Commissioner Kaz Daughtry, arrived here at the Altoona police station. This is where the person of interest is being held, and this is where the investigation is entering another phase. A 5-day nationwide manhunt coming to an end 300 miles from New York City.
This man has a $10,000 bounty on him. That's actually kind of insane. It's like a one-piece, like, freaking bounty.
Police in Altoona, Pennsylvania, arresting 26-year-old Luigi Mangione in connection with the murder of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an...
He went to the Golden Arches. He was a little hungry. He was a little hungry before his little assassination-y.
Employee who then called local police.
The McDonald's employee recognizing Mangione from one of these photos sent out by the NYPD after Wednesday morning's attack in Midtown Manhattan.
They probably could do like with AI, like, hey, AI, remove the face mask and tell me exactly who this kid is.
Altoona police questioning Mangione, finding a trove of evidence, including a fake New Jersey ID and a gun. Police described as a ghost gun.
Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person, as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder.
Police say they also found a mask and clothes matching what the shooter was wearing on Wednesday, and police found a 3-page handwritten note that speaks to a possible motive.
Preliminarily, like I said, he seems that he has some ill will toward corporate America.
Mangione.
I want that dude to do all of the interviews. He seemed like he had ill will to corporate America.
Is currently being held at the Altoona police station. Late this afternoon, NYPD officers and the FBI arriving to question him. Police crediting the public for the crucial tip that led to Mangione's arrest.
We should never underestimate the power of the public to be our eyes and our ears in these investigations.
Back here live in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where there's a heavy NYPD police presence. 2 more detectives, Natalie and David, just walked into the police station there. Now, Mangione's being held here. At this point, he is not charged with the Midtown murder. He's currently being...
Yeah, we got cops going on in my background. Shit.
Held here.
I thought that was in the video.
on gun charges. We're live in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I'm Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
Likely a long few hours there, Mark. Thank you for updating us from the scene of where this person of interest is being held. There are, of course, a lot of questions about the identity of the man who is going to be questioned by police.
Ultimately, I want to know, why is it this kid? Why is the kid being the fall guy for this assassination? Because I'm of the mindset that this kid did not act alone, and is not some like Robin Hood whose grandma got denied coverage for, you know, an insurance claim, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna whack the CEO because that's definitely gonna get my grandma the health coverage that she needs.
I'm going to bring in Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Deans, picking up our team coverage from the newsroom. John.
Natalie, David, the man in custody on the weapons charge in Pennsylvania appears to have an Ivy League education with a master's degree, and investigators are looking at angry writings posted online.
And this kid was a valedictorian. He had a whole like speech that he did at high school about this generation, you know, shaking up the standard quo. So I don't know if this is what he had in mind.
About healthcare firms and past acts of violence to see if those postings are linked to that man and this murder investigation here.
It's hard to go back and like, if we're looking under a microscope and like trying to find like hidden clues in the past, I'm sure we're gonna find some things, because if you're looking for a square hole with if you're looking for a square and you got a square, you know what I'm trying to say, you're gonna find what you're looking for. Sometimes even if it's not there. I'd be curious to see what he's been doing in the past 3 to 4 years to see if anything did radicalize it, because these past 4 years in America have been insane.
Here. Investigators say the strong person of interest is Luigi Mangione, 26 years old, and he was allegedly carrying this ghost gun at the McDonald's along with a suppressor. They say it is similar to the kind of weapon used in the shooting of the UnitedHealth CEO, but they say ballistics and other work still needs to be done. They also say Mangione was found carrying this fake New Jersey ID with the name Mark Rosario. Several officials say that is the same name and same ID used by the suspected killer who checked into this Upper West Side hostel in the days before the shooting.
Damn.
Investigators providing more detail about Mangione's background earlier.
He was born and raised in Maryland. We know he has ties to San Francisco, California.
Yeah, I want this guy to do all the narration from this point forward.
And his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii.
And his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He seems like a dangerous criminal, a dangerous vigilante. You need to hide your kids and hide your wife.
He has no prior arrest history in New York.
Pennsylvania authorities are holding Mangione on a gun charge for now, as NYPD investigators go to Altoona to question him. Officials say he was carrying a 3-page letter complaining about companies at the time of his arrest at that McDonald's.
Officers recovered a handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset.
Investigators are also looking into social media and whether the person of interest had complained about having past back problems that had needed medical attention. They were also looking at other past, quote, revolutionary-type writings posted to social media to see if Mangione is behind those writings. A person with the same name appears to have been a high school valedictorian, and a spokesman at the University of Pennsylvania says Mangione graduated from there with a bachelor's and master's degree in engineering. Investigators tell us they're looking to see if Mangione arrived at the McDonald's in Altoona via bus from Philadelphia. The NYPD said last week that they believe the suspected gunman left New York from the George Washington Bridge bus terminal via bus. The NYPD and FBI have been following hundreds of tips and leads of possible names from New York to Atlanta to Pennsylvania. But this tip from workers and customers at that McDonald's appears to be
Hi guys video? The hell?
the big break.
He's going to be facing gun charges there, and at some point we'll work out through extradition to bring him back to New York to face charges here.
So they basically got him in custody, and they're trying to figure out how do we actually apply like a criminal charge to this guy. It's like once they get you, they'll figure out the charge. They just need to get you first, and then they'll figure it out later, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Investigators also looking at other online postings making reference to the past Unabomber Ted Kaczynski and whether the suspect here posted any of those writings.
I did see something like this on Twitter, but I didn't know how valid it was. And MSNBC or CBS, whoever this is, talking about it, makes me feel like it's less real now because I don't believe anything these guys say anymore.
Again, with a gun allegedly recovered in Altoona, the NYPD still continues to try to follow up leads in Central Park, where they're looking to see if the suspected gunman left any additional evidence behind as he fled that murder scene. Natalie?
Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dienst with new information. John, you mentioned the city because right now, as you said, NYPD fanning out all across our city, looking for more clues into the investigation and into the death of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Let's get down to News 4's Jessica Cunnington picking up our coverage from City Hall. Jessica?
Yeah, guys, the NYPD brass and also the mayor, we heard from them here at City Hall today how this investigation is still very much pushing forward in our city. And they also spoke about how all of the work so far led to today's major development. NYPD divers back in the water in Central Park this morning looking for evidence related to the deadly attack. Mayor Adams, joined by NYPD Commissioner Tisch and Chief of Detectives Joe Kenny, reacting to the arrest in Pennsylvania.
Why are we in the water? Why are we searching the water? What the heck?
We have a strong person of interest in the shooting that shook our city, our office.
Yeah, I need the other guy to do it. I need a strong. We have a strong person of interest. I can't even do his accent now. Shit.
Officers have been working around the clock. Many of them did not go home.
Detectives still pouring through hundreds of hours of video across the city to try to piece together the suspect's every move while he was here 10 days before the shooting, starting November 24th. Investigators believe after the targeted shooting of CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown on December 4th, he hopped on a bike and went into Central Park, ditching his backpack and eventually the bike. The suspect, the night of the shooting, last seen here at the George Washington Bridge bus terminal in.
Why would you not set it ablaze? That's what I don't understand. Why are you not burning yourself? Why are you leaving it behind?
Washington Heights, where police believe he got onto a bus. It is still not clear which one and how he got to Altoona, Pennsylvania. But his face in this photo, unmasked, captured at the Upper West Side hostel he stayed at, spread nationwide. The mayor praising the NYPD's work and decisions to get the images out there.
Someone, a McDonald's employee, did something we ask every American to do. If you see something, say something, but most importantly, do something. It was crucial that we were able to remove him off the streets of America, and we were going to seek him out no matter where he was at the time.
Now we just got to figure out why. What is his motive?
So investigators.
And I know this is crazy because it's not even relevant to this, but how do we're getting all of this info about this guy in this police case and this investigation, but what about the assassination of Trump that happened not too long ago? We know more about this guy already than we do about James Cook. I don't even know if I should say that name in this video.
Still trying to piece together the puzzle of his time here in New York City, as again, officers and detectives still digging through Central Park and video as well. Live at City Hall, I'm Jessica Cunnington. Back to you.
So much to learn. All right, Jessica, thank you. As we have throughout, we want to bring in the former chief of department at the NYPD, Terry Monahan, to us. Terry, before we get specific, your initial thoughts when you heard what you did about what happened this afternoon.
Listen, when you see him grabbing 5 days later, still carrying the gun, still carrying the same ID that he utilized when he checked.
I like this guy.
Into the hostel that everyone knew he was at, kind of surprised me that he wasn't more meticulous, more careful.
Same.
Especially how careful he was leaving the city. You would figure he would have gotten rid of a lot of that information. I was very surprised to see he had it, but it makes the case so much stronger for the cops. Now that he has all that information, once the ballistics comes back, I mean, they got him pretty solid.
What do you think is the motivation behind that? A lot of people talking about why did he still have a gun on him? They're talking about that handwritten note.
Is this an opportunity where he wants to send whatever his message is out, be caught, let people know he's the one that did it, and try and give whatever his manifesto may be? We'll see.
I don't think that. Honestly, if I had to if I had to put my opinion out there, it might be where he just kind of got comfortable and he kind of was like, he thought he was out in the clear. He was out of the state, thinking, no, I did that in New York. I'm in Pennsylvania. There's no way they can get me out there.
Time will tell.
Walk us through this aspect, Terry, in that There was a picture out, and everybody has theories. They're like, well, why aren't they calling him a suspect yet? And they're still not calling him a suspect yet. There are methodical things that have to happen. Walk us through a little bit.
There's a lot of things that have to go on. He has a lot of information that makes you believe he is the individual. But now you want to tie the ballistics together, that this is the gun. He's a gun that resembles it, but now ballistically it'll be tested. Will it match the shells that are on the scene? There's a bottle with
you got to go through and validate all of the different things and make sure that this kid is the kid.
DNA on it.
Because if it's not, yikes.
His DNA going to be on that bottle. You want to put all this together so when you present the case to a grand jury and eventually to a trial, you have everything so that you can get not only an arrest, but an indictment and then a conviction.
Speak a little bit to a possible motive here. We heard Jonathan Dienst talk about the angry writings possibly on social media. There might have been word about some type of surgery, a back surgery he went through. We know he graduated, they said, from UPenn. That was confirmed, Ivy League school. Talk a little bit about possible motive, what you've learned.
He's a very intelligent individual. When I understood, a valedictorian at his high school, Ivy League school. So whatever his message is, I think his motivation will come out in the near future. That he's going to want to say it. I don't think he'll be quiet. We don't know. I don't think he's spoken to anyone yet. It'll be very interesting over the next couple of hours when detectives go to interview him, if he's willing to explain everything. Tell the world why he did what he did. An event like this, a lot of times that individual has a...
But then also, if he does tell these detectives what, like his true motivation, do we trust that detectives are going to give us the honest truth and say, hey, this is exactly what he told us in there? I don't think we're going to get... we may never actually know the God honest truth of why he did the thing that he did, which is crazy.
Message that he wants to spread out. He's caught. He's going to go to jail for the rest of his life. Is there a message that he's going to try and get out? We'll see as time goes on.
Took a few days, Terry, even after a photo was out there. Does that surprise you now that we are here at this moment where they believe they have found the person?
This is what we talk about. You put out that photo. There were hundreds of tips coming in, and you had to go through each and every single tip. They were down in Atlanta. They were all over the country responding to tips. All of a sudden, Altoona, someone sees them. Not only is it just a tip that had to be not so much vetted, but once you grab them, there's a gun and there's that ID in the thing. It went from 0, to 100 in really just a matter of minutes.
All of us could use a little bit of luck and good timing as well, and everything that we do in terms of trying to do the right thing. All right, Terry Monahan.
That's true. This is such a crazy situation, and as it unfolds, we're gonna stay locked in